I was putting these screws in, I didn't have any force at all. I broke it off in the oil filter housing. One of the easiest ways to save money if you own a boat is by servicing your own motors. So today I'm going over the Suzuki 15 horsepower. This includes the 9.9 and the 20 horsepowers as well, and how to service this thing for 300 hours. That's going to include everything in the 100-hour service as well as a few others. I'll have the parts needed, tools needed, and the torque specs necessary to get this outboard ready for the season. First thing we got to do is remove all the plastic. So take your cowling off, and then this O-ring, we're going to go ahead and pop it off as well. You'll see here why in a second. Now you can just leave this thing hanging on the motor, but I'm just going to go ahead and remove it entirely, get it completely out of the way. And now we have 8mm bolts right here, one up here, another one down there, and then on the other side we have 4 or 5 more. We need to remove all those so we can take these side cowlings off. Disconnect that fuel line real quick. Got that side panel of the cowling off. We'll just come over here. We'll take this one out. A little plastic piece will slide off. Now we have access to everything we need. Now I have an 8mm hex key. We're going to use that to drain the engine oil from this port right here. The oil drain has a crush washer, and this thing was over torqued last time it was placed on, so I'm going to remove that. And the correct size is going to be the M12 18 by 1.5mm. You can get a whole kit like this on Amazon pretty cheap. I'll link it. But I'm just going to simply put it on there. When that oil drains, we'll throw this back on. One of my favorite tools is this electric torque wrench adapter. You attach it to any 3/8 inch wrench, and now you have a torque wrench. Go ahead and put our drain plug back in. Torque setting for this is going to be 12 foot-pounds. Not much at all. Next thing is our filter, which is going to be back here behind all this. So we're going to move our fuel filter real quick, give us better access. We'll be changing it as well here in just a couple minutes. See, that oil's going to drip out, and you're going to have a mess on your hands regardless. And just keep in mind, you have this ring right here as well as the spring. Make sure you keep those. Little flathead makes it easier to pull this out. Just don't be very rough because you are dealing with aluminum here. You don't want to scratch the surfaces. Once you get it started, you generally pull that out the rest of the way. That's what your oil filter looks like. Now the oil filter has 2 O-rings, one inside here and one on the cover. So the inside one here is the part number. You can pause if you need to, but I'll have all of that in the description. And that's what it looks like. So we're going to take a small pick and we're just going to pop this O-ring out. Make sure not to use anything that's too tough, and then we'll have to replace it with that new one. There we go. That's the old one out. That's it. And all we got to do is take a small pick once again, get underneath it a little bit. Again, we don't want to damage the cover, so just be gentle. Pull that out. And when it comes to this filter, you'll notice this outside one, we want this to be facing towards us. And then right here where you see the hole, we want that facing in, and it'll actually push on. So take that filter, move everything out of the way real quick. Get that in place right there. And then when we put this cover on, we'll move everything out of the way yet again. This being a secondhand outboard, I was worried about running into some issues, and I have. Very hard to tell on camera, but this screw, you may be able to see, it's bigger down here and shorter as far as diameter back here at the top. This is due to being stretched and over tightened by whoever serviced this previously. And when that happened, when I was putting these screws in, I didn't have any force at all. I broke it off in the oil filter housing. So I'll have to extract this screw right here before we can put another one in, or more specifically, a flange bolt. Just goes to show you how important it is to follow your manufacturer's specs when it comes to tightening stuff and not over tightening, because that is the problem you'll have. Fortunately, that one wasn't very stuck because I was putting it back in. Let's make sure these threads are still okay. My parts store didn't have the exact bolt, but it had the right thread pitch and the right length. So we're going to go with these for right now, and I'll order the proper flange bolts that I could use in the future. Finally ready to add engine oil. So we got to just do this yellow cap right here. Pop it out, throw a funnel in, and this takes right at 1 liter basically. Now normally it's a good idea to run the engine, that way you get it in the oil filter, but this oil filter is so small we should get a pretty darn good idea looking at the dipstick. And as long as we're right at the full mark, or pretty darn close to it, when the engine does run and puts in the oil filter, we will have plenty. Let's go ahead and stick that one more time. And yep, we are good. Just a tiny bit over that fill mark, so when we run this engine and it gets into the oil filter and rest of the system, that oil is going to be right where it should be. We're going to go ahead and change the fuel filter as well. I don't know last time it was changed. Given these marks, it doesn't look like it ever has been in the last 8 years, so it certainly won't hurt. A little pair of channel locks, we'll pull that up. All right, got that one. This is going to be filled with fuel. You can empty it from that bottom one, but we're just going to tip it upside down, empty in our oil tank. Rubber piece from the old fuel filter, we're going to put it on this one. Start right there, pull it around, and then that is going to go into that grommet. And then just as before, we're going to do the top line. And then it's as simple as popping it back into its bracket spot, and then just follow your fuel lines, make sure they are back in their clips, such as that one's in, put it right there, and you're set. Next is spark plugs. All we got to do is pop these boots off real quick. So that's number 1, it's longer. Number 2 is going to be lower. So you don't have to worry about messing those up and getting your timing off. And then you're going to want a 5/8 inch spark plug socket. Put in there. And this will give us a good indicator about how the engine is running. Looking at that spark plug, looks pretty good. Maybe a tiny bit white on top, but that's just fine. This engine runs a little bit leaner. Now, since the spark plug is still good, once again, we'll keep it as a backup. It won't hurt anything, but we're going to put new ones in today. Brand new plug, and this is the NGK MRK-9. So that's the model number you'll need. By hand, we'll get it started, and then we're going to go to about 7.5, 8 foot-pounds of torque for these spark plugs. And you'll see this isn't a whole lot. Right there, 8.1, close enough. Spark plug 1 back on top. Once again, that's going to be that taller one. Pretty obvious. And the second one down here on the bottom. Change your gear oil. You have 2 flathead screws right here. Always remove the top one first. Make sure you get that one undone before you do the bottom one. Just like I was worried about, someone way over tightened these as well. You don't need that much force on these screws. That's ridiculous. All right, thank goodness that wasn't nearly as tough. Now we undo the top one. Allow all that gear oil to drain. That's looking pretty dark. Yeah, it's about time this thing's been changed. Now we just fill this back up with some gear lube. So we'll go ahead and tighten this pump in. And this is a pump I basically use on every outboard that I own. Now this is 80W90 is the weight you need. bit of fluid leaking out. Give it one last slow pump. Yep. See a little bit more. That tells us it's full. So put that top one back in. Make sure to remember a gasket. Go ahead and get a clean one. The ones that were on here were in pretty rough shape. Loosen our bottom pump. You see we have a little bit leak out. Absolutely normal. Just get that screw started. Snug that in place. Once again, you don't want to over tighten it. Last thing for the 300-hour service is changing the water impeller. So before we take the lower unit off, we're going to go ahead and undo our gear selector. So we want to go ahead and put that in forward, give us as much room to work. And I already have loosened this a bit, making it easier, but 10mm wrenches is all you'll need. But you back those screws off from one another, you'll have your gear selector undone. Those are undone from one another. Now these are 12mm bolts. I think we have 4 of them on here, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes you do have to get a hammer and give it a few love taps. There we go. Our lower unit's out. Lower unit's in the vise. Here is your water pump, 10mm wrench, and these are reverse threaded, so righty-loosey, lefty-tighty on these, but we just need to remove all 4 of these bolts real quick. Pull the bolts out. Now we just need to take this housing, be nice and gentle, raise it up and out. That's what the inside looks like. Yeah, that stainless steel water housing looks to be in great shape. No reason to replace any of that. Also notice that hole, that's going to align on the back side of the lower unit, so we'll know how to put that back in. One other thing to notice, these splines look great, but they have a little bit of turn pushing this way, so that means when the motor's in forward, it's turning like this. So when we put our impeller in, we want to twist the same way as the outboard so we get the impeller in the correct way. And that's out. Now there's a Woodruff key on the shaft, so we want to make sure that's still in place. I have a backup just in case. That's in perfectly good shape though, so we're going to leave it in. We're going to go ahead and put our new one on. As mentioned, the Woodruff key, on this side we don't have an opening. On this side we do, so we want to face that side down and over the Woodruff key. Slide it in. Make sure we have everything lined up. Should be pretty darn close. And that pushes down to the right spot. Fit it back on, just put it over the top, drop it over. And one of the things you can do is slowly take this, and we're going to turn it the correct way. And you see that housing just goes straight down over the top. Grease on there. I just have this high temp red tack. That's what I basically run on everything. We're just going to put a little dabble on the top of these gears right here. This part can be tricky. You got to line everything up just right, but get that lower unit shaft in. You got pins up here, and that'll tell you. But sometimes you get a little caught up. You just got to get this prop right there. See, the splines went into one another. Now we just take the screws, pop those back in, or those bolts. Do that and we're done. Doesn't hurt. Take a little bit of grease, put it just on the top of your bolt. Fold the bolts in. Now we just need to go in a start pattern to get them all tightened down. Last but not least, we have a couple of Zerk fittings for grease. So you want to grease this for your unit, and then you have another one right here, and that's going to be for your tilt. You want to make sure to get that as well. Slowly start seeing it come out. You're full, you're good. Since our place is fuel filter, I want to go ahead and have to use the bulb, and I want to start getting fuel in it, so I'll pump it until I see that fuel get into here. Make sure our gear is good. One to gearing forward. Check it in reverse. Yep. So that's lined properly. Good thing we checked. There's a split right there, even though we didn't touch this line from the fuel cooler. And that's spraying right at the bottom of the engine. Definitely don't want salt water doing that, so let's run to the hardware store, get another piece of hose. That's going to help our output even more. Just cut where that broken piece was and had just enough line to make it work. I want to restart the engine, see if we have any more leaks. No more leaks. We're good to go right there. Good strong flow. Fuel filter's filled up. No leaks on filter cover. Look around. Nothing up there looks good. Nothing up here. And no leaks down here at the bolt. Don't know if you can see that, but perfect, right at the full mark after that engine ran for a second. The 300-hour service is complete. If you need the parts numbers or the specs, anything like that, it's all going to be linked in the description. Also have a spreadsheet with links to everything I use today as far as parts. Now, the majority of stuff can be found on Amazon. However, there are a few things you might have to go on boats.net that are a little bit more specialized. Overall though, really happy with how the service came out. Everything's running well and we're good to go.